everyone, and welcome to, I don't know, maybe episode 1, maybe episode 2. We'll see, of the collective. I am your host, Papa Smurf.
I'm the Viking.
I'm the Diplomat.
And I'm 31.
And unfortunately, Florida Man's not here today due to complications with work.
Complications, yeah, we'll call it complications. Excellent.
He decided he wanted to go a little slower today and be on pace with everyone else, so get his full 8 hours in today.
There's no reward for rushing.
No, there's really not. All right, so the topic we're going to talk about today was actually brought up by the Diplomat. He just had a question, and I said, you know what? That's a good topic. We're just going to talk about that on the podcast. So go ahead and why don't you pose your question?
All right, my question is about, First Amendment auditors. What do we think about them? Are they actually fighting to uphold, to make sure that those in places of authority are, not violating, quote unquote, per se, the Constitution?
Can you just, because I actually didn't even know what the hell you were talking about. So, what actually is a First Amendment auditor?
Well, based on my understanding, I'll give you a brief scenario of a few clips that I came across on TikTok. So you have these guys who, let's say, a guy could walk into the post office, with his phone, recording his activities in there. Based on what I saw, it's like they're just trying to get attention. It's almost like, quote unquote, poking the bear. And there are some places that say that, they don't like to be recorded, but these guys just keep on pushing until those over there go ahead and get the police involved.
So they go into, are they doing is it always federal?
Actually, my wife was talking about that, they've done some talking about First Amendment auditors in the library. And the big thing about the whole First Amendment auditors is any public, like government official, police, have no right to privacy while on the clock. So, like as what we do for a living, we're subject to Ring cameras and anybody can record us at any point in time. However, even though the library is government funded or taxpayer funded, so it is technically a public place, they are not allowed to record other people because they have a right to their privacy as private citizens. So, while the staff can be recorded, where they get into an issue is
the patrons
there.
People just trying to check out a book or read or do whatever don't have the right to be recorded because they're still maintaining their privacy.
Yeah, and the same thing at the post office. We are aware that we're under scrutiny all the time. However, we have areas that are private that doesn't matter that it's taxpayer funded or, stamp funded.
Right.
For clarification. So they can't just walk into the back room. That is a private area. It is government sensitive information that they are not subject to without, authorization. Your First Amendment to record and be press, in quotes, does not give you those kind of authorities to go into these private areas. Now, they can go into the main lobby. They can be in where, the clerks are at. That's fine. There's nothing we can do about it because that is their right as it's a public venue.
And most post offices like that act as a storefront to where they can ship and buy stamps and all that. So obviously they're welcome. But where we set up our mail for the day, they're not allowed to come back and especially record.
Now, the fine line there also, though, is even at the post office, we have the right to trespass someone for disturbing the peace, for making other people uncomfortable. So that's when you can say to a First Amendment auditor, hey, you're making other people uncomfortable. You got to leave.
Well, here's my take on this. And, we had a little bit of a different discussion. It was kind of a little different. But if you're one of these people, and you said, you go into the library and they can record the staff, but they can't record the people. That's actually not true, because those people don't have a right to privacy like that in public. I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't matter who you are. You take, for example, I have cameras all around my house.
Yeah.
If somebody walks, through my yard, or somebody walks up to my door, just like we do when we're delivering mail, it doesn't matter if they are the mailman or, Joe Blow who's just walking their dog. My camera catches them. They're in public.
But the difference is you're not using that recording for press news or something like that. These people are going in there, and basically they are poking the bear on purpose. They're trying to push the boundaries of freedom of press by standing right there on that line. Just like, private companies, you can't go into a police station and record,
Right.
But a lot of these guys are standing there in the parking lot saying, well, this is public property. We pay for this property with our taxes, so I have right to be here.
Which is true.
Which is true, as long as there's no signs that says private area, do no trespassing, or,
right.
No unauthorized personnel.
So part of our conversation was, talking about, and you had brought up that people were like on the street, like taking photos or recording federal buildings,
right?
For example, and then they would have, whether it was federal police or their security or whoever, come out and start questioning them. And I brought up the fact that yes, those people are allowed to do that, but they kind of create panic by doing that, and that's the reason that they're going to be questioned by, a police officer or something like that. Now, if it's a decent police officer, he will explain the situation, say, hey, man, we got a call, or someone, kind of started freaking out a little bit from inside the building. We do live in a nation where 9/11 happened. Right. We do live in a nation where the Oklahoma federal building was bombed. The World Trade Centers were bombed before that. Banks get robbed. I mean, these are all things that, if you're going to do it and do it right, you have to do some type of canvassing and research up in the first place. So I think they're just fucking idiots.
No, I agree. And the big problem is, I've seen a lot of those TikToks too, like the diplomat has. And 9 times out of 10, the person auditing gets very confrontational.
Right. And yes, they have the freedom of speech. They have the freedom of press, even though I don't know how that works when you're not the press.
So due to social media and YouTube and TikTok and all that kind of stuff, you can claim yourself to be an independent journalist.
Because you're a creator.
You're a creator.
Okay.
Now, what happens with back in 2020 with the George Floyd thing where someone was just filming that? Are they considered the press when they posted it online, or they're just some random Joe Schmo that filmed it and then they just happen to post it? What does that make them?
I would suppose it would kind of fall under the same lines.
Yeah.
It? I mean, they're in public.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that any of those videos that came out from, things like that, I don't think they were ever in question.
And I think that's one of the reasons why these are happening more and more, is because everybody has a camera. And specifically because of the George Floyd incident, more and more people are, watching cops. It hasn't been a secret that cops have been less than forthright with their information when it comes to arrests or accidental deaths or shootings.
That is true, but you have to admit it is getting a lot better.
Yeah, no.
And to an extent of that, they have to keep that. They have to do an investigation anyways, or somebody has to do an investigation in the first place. Damn.
Right.
So you can't just throw that stuff out there. before an investigation has even been done. So I think, although I do somewhat agree with that stuff being released in a timely manner, but people need to understand that timely manner is all dependent on what kind of investigation is going on.
Now, okay, so with the recent school shooting in Nashville, they released the body cam footage of the 2 officers that shot the school shooter. That was pretty quick. That was only, 2 or 3 days after the incident happened. So I'm guessing they already went through their investigation and looked into that before they released it, or was it?
So obviously they're gonna do something to make sure that it was a good shoot.
Right.
I don't think anybody is gonna say that wasn't a good.
No,
shoot.
I think where the issue is where people have lost faith in the justice system is when it comes to a police officer breaking the law while in the active duty,
Oh, absolutely.
like George Floyd.
Yeah.
The evidence has a tendency to be either altered or disappear. I'm not saying that happens in every case. I'm just saying that because that kind of thing has happened, more people, the police themselves are being very open and transparent about what's going on because they know that they have lost the faith of the people in a general sense.
Sure. And I don't disagree with you. And I think things are getting better in that aspect. The Diplomat had also brought up a video I think you were talking about. And since we're on this vein, and we got into that conversation, like somebody had been pulled over.
Right.
And somebody was taking a video saying, you don't have to do that. You don't, know your rights, know this,
yeah, because
know
the person that got pulled over was getting their car searched, and some random bystander on the opposite end of the street was filming it and saying, they know your right. They don't have to search your vehicle. You can say no at any time.
And the guy recording, he just kept on yelling and saying, hey, you can tell him to stop. You can tell him to stop. So at what point does that become, like interference of an investigation or a search? My opinion, some of these guys, they feel entitled. All right. And they use that First Amendment audit thing as a guise to, do whatever they feel they can.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, you have to respect authority. Trust that these guys are doing their job the right way. Give them their space. If they say, hey, give me 10, 20 feet, give them that space. You don't have to be all up in their face.
Yeah, and I brought up, too, that, at that point, with this guy over here yelling, that officer is in a very dangerous situation anyways. Not only because he might not know what's in that car, he could get hit by a passing car, because there's a lot of fucking idiots who don't get over. If you can't get over, they don't slow down, and
another thing is he might not even know whether that person recording is armed or not.
Exactly. So now you got other, and so he's dealing with a lot of stuff at that point in time. And that guy who maybe he is just recording and he's just being a nosy neighbor, he's being a Karen basically at that point. He's interfering with an investigation. If that officer got permission to search the vehicle or went through his probable cause issues or, however he got into searching that vehicle, the fact of the matter is it should have been done legally in the first place. We're just
going to assume that it was all in due cause and rightful, yeah.
But, if that driver gave that officer permission to search his vehicle, if an officer pulls me over and wants to search my vehicle, you can search my vehicle. I don't care. There's nothing in there.
Right.
Go ahead. And that could be what that driver was like. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You can think whatever you want. But so that guy that's over there yelling, he's interfering with an investigation that is going on. And whether people realize that or not, that is a crime.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying he can't record it, the whole George Floyd thing or, any of the other police interactions that happen. You're more than welcome to record it. Nobody is saying you can't record it.
But basically, heckling a police officer in the aspect of their job is creating more chaos and stress that could lead into the officer or somebody else getting hurt.
Well, yeah. Well, that's true too. I didn't even think about it that way. I basically thought about it as, that's going to lead to that heckler most likely being arrested,
right? And
then saying, "Oh, you're violating my rights," and no, he's not. You put yourself into a situation that you had no business being in. So that was my big thing, and it goes back to those First Amendment auditors, out there.
Yeah.
An officer that approaches you and says, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just recording this and blah blah blah." Okay, well, you're freaking people out, or we're getting calls.
Yeah. The other thing is they try to be very vague, like, "Oh, well, I'm just doing report, an article."
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can disclose what your article is in a baseline so that people know, oh, okay, that's perfectly fine. But these guys are more often than not just trying to get likes and trying to stir the pot. And that's the biggest problem is, once again, you have a few bad eggs fucking everything up. There probably are some really good ones out there that are just trying to make sure that in a country that is slowly getting taken over by fascists.
Here we go.
Facts are facts. That they're actually trying to make sure that our First Amendment right, which was made the First Amendment for a reason, stays valid. When you have DeSantis in Florida trying to, put gag orders on legitimate reporters.
Yeah. I heard about that.
So I feel like it's
I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying so we need people out there that are willing to stand up to that.
I feel like it's almost making the police officers as just doing let's just say the lawful search of a vehicle. It makes them not want to do, even be there in the first place because he knows he has to deal with this very intense situation while also dealing with the male Karen that's over there constantly heckling him.
And you have that issue, I think it was in Kansas. There was a police station in Kansas that they didn't like being checked, so they said, well, we're just not going to help you guys. And we're not answering phone calls. They weren't going out on 911 calls. No, you guys don't trust us. Why should we come and help you?
Well, and that's a serious issue because it does happen. It has happened all over the country that they just are just not going to show up. And if you hate cops for whatever reason, I get it, but I don't get it, but you have to understand, we need somebody to police. You need a police officer. You have to, because if you don't, if you just have street anarchy going on the streets, it's the purge. It's the purge all the time.
Which even in the purge, it's 12 hours of complete anarchy, but then it goes back to a civilized, air quotes, society where now the laws have gone back into effect. So there is just straight anarchy, but then we can go back to a lawful system.
Well, and we don't need a police state.
Purge is it because that one has a lot of social political issues that we don't need to get into today.
That's true, it does. But as if you're just watching it at face value for the movie,
now the first one,
definitely the first one,
but the subsequent ones,
they do have their things. But and I'm not saying we don't need a police state. That's not what I'm saying at all. But we also don't need anarchy. We are a civilized nation, and there are some people in our nation who are uncivilized.
Oh yeah,
and they need policed.
Definitely.
How many are there on each of our routes? How many people do we like? God, they're just a bunch of dicks over there.
Well, yeah.
How many people in your bars do you walk and you're like, oh, I don't want to go in here today?
Anytime. So those of you who don't know, I have 5 bars on my route. And by the time I get to them, only one of them is not open yet. I'm going to be honest. I dread going into them every day. Mm-hmm. Every single day I dread going into them. And not because, I don't want to talk to people or I talk to everyone. Joe Blow walking down the street, I'll say good morning, good afternoon, whatever. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I want you to know that I'm here.
Right.
That way you don't do anything stupid.
Right.
I want you to see me as a person. Mm-hmm. That way you don't try and rob me. You know what I mean? So I bring attention to me with other people and everybody around me.
Well, we've also established that our uniforms and our cars are kind of like the background program of the Matrix.
They are. People do not see us. And if you're listening to this and you don't work for the post office, start paying attention and just take a look around at all the mail vehicles, all the post office vehicles, all the carriers that are out. You will be amazed at what you see. And it's not, we're just background noise.
I said this the one day where I went up to my hometown and I went to go visit my parents, and within, I think, 5 minutes of driving around, I saw 5 postal vehicles.
Yeah.
Where I'm pretty sure I've never seen that many postal vehicles at one time in that town before. But all of a sudden, now that I work for them, I see them all the time, everywhere I go.
We do. But before we worked, I never saw a post office vehicle except for the one that parks right there at a 4-way stop.
Right.
Because that's where his swing is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's the only time I ever saw a post
I think it's one of those things that we do see it, but kind of like how we see our nose all the time, our brain doesn't recognize it.
No, and it's funny. Once you start recognizing that, we're everywhere.
Yeah,
well, we're everywhere.
Then there's the people that recognize your pattern and know your route and know what time you're supposed to be on your route. Yeah. Like my parents' mail carrier, he knows, all right, between 11 and 11:15. If it's a late day, she's there at 11:15. If it's an early day, she's there at 11 every single day. And I walk down and I pick up the mail. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that every single day?
Yeah.
And when she's not on her route because the mail is not there by 11:15.
Well, even before I got my ring,
right.
I knew where, when I started, I'm like, before I even start with the post office, I always they'll be here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
When I have a package coming through USPS, I'm like, they'll be here by 10.
Yeah. And sure enough,
every time.
It on like Amazon, who knows when Amazon's going to show up today?
I mean, I had many customers on my old route tell me, like, man, we're going to miss you. We miss you being so consistent in your times.
Right. That consistency is nice.
Because they know that, my last park while I was there, 2:00 on average, 2:30 at the latest, and that was a late day for me.
Yeah.
So they know they can get their mail by 3:15. Then I'm done and I'm heading back to the office.
But there's people that rely on that stability. Mm-hmm. They are waiting for their check. They're waiting for their meds. And they're like, okay, he better be here. And I know when I have a day off and somebody else does my route, they're like, our stuff didn't show up in time. I'm like, I can't help that.
Right. I get it all the time.
I had my business I drop off, then go over to my driving section. I legit they came up to me and said, yeah, no one picked up the mail. I'm like, yeah, I noticed that because there's a stack that thick of outgoing plus a couple packages and all the mail was brought back.
Yeah. And I can always tell when somebody else did my route out of order or out of sequence.
Yeah.
Because I'll come the next morning and mail that is usually out of the mailbox is still there because it wasn't there when they're ready for it. Right. So they're just waiting for the next day.
Yeah. Once I drove past your route. And I was like, oh, you missed an piece of outgoing. He's like, nope, there was nothing there when I was there. So
yeah, he said that to me the other day. I was like, you motherfucker. Yeah, no, but I hit that place at 9:00 in the morning. Right. Yeah, sorry. Go to a collection box. It's right around the corner. But
yeah, that collection box doesn't get email anyway. It would be nice actually. Actually gets used.
Oh, and that wasn't an outgoing letter anyways. It was he don't live here. I actually think I did go pick it up later. That's besides the point.
You probably had time to kill anyway.
No.
It takes exactly as much time as needed.
Right.
Well, we definitely got off topic there. But anyways,
yeah.
We are, to say it, we are recorded all the time. during our day. It's funny because
one of these days I might actually count how many cameras I have on my route.
Oh boy,
I probably don't have as much anymore with my new route than I did on my old one.
I don't know. I bet you'd be surprised. You just haven't found them yet. Because not everybody has a doorbell camera.
Right.
Well, look up in the corners.
Oh yeah, I look around, especially if we say something or on a topic that's whatever that may be. I always, if I'm about to say something, kind of do a quick.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You do a 360. Make sure nobody's around. Make sure there's no camera. Shit. But I don't know. These First Amendment auditors, they just. I get what you're trying to do, but really all you're doing is causing problems.
You're making a problem out of nothing.
You are making a problem out of nothing. You're trying to get a rise out of law enforcement. You're trying to get a rise out of whoever it is, and all in the name of a First Amendment freedom. Which, yes, we have a First Amendment freedom. But what people don't understand is your freedoms, your rights are not from everyday citizens.
It's from the government.
It's only from the government.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know if they still teach it now. I've been out of school for a bit.
How long's a bit?
I graduated in 99.
Oh, I was 2 years old, baby.
But I know what I learned in social studies and civics class in high school was your rights only go so far as to not impede the rights of others.
Oh, that's true too.
So, your freedom of speech, while it's government, you don't have the freedom from consequences for what you say.
Right.
I could call Papa Smurf a dumbass, and he has the right to punch me in my face.
Well,
but I can also call.
I don't necessarily have the right to punch you in the face, but But
there are consequences for your action.
There are consequences all over on that one, But yeah, I mean, it happens. It does. It happens all the time. Well, he called me a bitch. Well, okay. Well, that's why I got fucking punched in the face. I'm not free from the consequence of punching you, but
at the same time, we can also call DeSantis or Biden or whomever a bitch and not doing their job, and we can say that freely because we know that we can't say treasonous things
for them,
right? And that is.
But even there has some consequences. You can't say, and I'm just using this as an example, I'm going to kill the president. Yes, you have the freedom to say that. However,
all right, 29 minutes in, okay.
When the Secret Service shows up to your front door, there are consequences for saying something like that. I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm just using it as an example.
No, and you're right. You do have the freedom of speech, but again, there are consequences for the things you do and say. Yeah, no, I get that, and he said it, not me.
Hey, I voted for Biden, so.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
I was about to say, this is another one of those, I hate a certain group of people again.
We're not talking about that.
How did this turn political all of a sudden?
Well,
because the Viking was here. That's why I turned political.
No, I'm not trying to get political. We're talking about First Amendment, freedom of speech, and consequences for that freedom.
Yeah, and people just don't realize that. Yeah, they think they can. Karens can do whatever they want.
Started on that
in a gas station, or whatever. These businesses, they're private businesses. They have the right to refuse service.
Do you know that term, the customer is always right?
That's just bullshit fucking.
Well, it wasn't. It was one of those sayings that got modified, just like blood is thicker than water. The original statement for that was the customer is always right in the matter of taste.
Whoa.
So, like when you go to a restaurant and, they say, hey, I don't like this steak cooked this way, that is where the customer is always right because it is their taste.
Even though if it's something that what they specifically asked for, they asked for a medium rare steak, and it came out medium rare. Like, I don't like the taste of this.
Right. Okay. That was where the original statement came from. Was the customer's always right in a matter of taste. However, just like so many other sayings in this world, it got shortened, and then people ran with it.
Mm-hmm. And now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Customer's always right. No.
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 No, because when the customer comes up to the counter and says, hey, this doesn't have a barcode on it, it's free. No, it's not. You're not right. Shut the fuck up.
No, we'll just set it aside and then go get another one with a barcode.
I hate to keep bringing back, the post office, but the diplomat just had an issue with this the other day with a so-and-so name or...
I remember that.
or current resident. Okay, and he explained it. He explained it really well and very, very nicely.
For once, was very diplomatic with it. Yes,
he was very nice about it. And this person goes, "Yeah, but they don't live here." And he was like, "Well, yeah, but that's why it saes or current resident."
Exactly.
He goes, "I can't take that back. I can't take that. You live here. You're the current resident."
Before I left that house, I can't believe I said what I said. But I chuckled. I told her, "Hey, you're the current resident. You can do whatever you want with it. I cannot take it back. You can set it on fire for all I can." That's exactly what I told her.
Yeah, and that was great. And I lost it. You can set it on fire. I don't care what you do with it, but
it's yours now.
Yeah.
Most of us just say, you can throw it away for all I care, but we have to deliver this.
Right.
That came out of nowhere because I deal with this every day, and I'm sure you guys do. At some point, I had it. So I said, "Hey,
that's why I would carry a Sharpie on me."
Yeah, I know a lot of us. I know a lot of us will black out the name and circle or current resident. But
my favorite go-to line is, "Well, this person doesn't live here, and you're not the current resident apparently. So does no one live here? If no one lives here, I can just mark this house vacant, and then I'll just return all your mail. So if you don't get your checks, sorry, you told me this. You told me no one lives here,
and I'll be on my way."
Right. Don't play with us, because most of the time we have the time to be petty, and we will be petty 1,000% of the time.
Absolutely.
I deliver the same route, the same way, every single day. I have time. I've had people do that. Put, current resident stuff back in my collection box. And I've literally taken it out of the collection box.
I know what house this is, too.
Gone to the house with that mail and put it back in their mailbox.
I believe it.
It took me 30 extra seconds. You're damn right I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it every time. Because just throw it away. I don't want it. I have to deliver it. It's my job.
Right.
It is my job to deliver all the mail that's correct for your house. Now, if I get something and it is a bad name, okay, cool. Just tell me, hey, doesn't live here, moved. I don't care. Say something. But luckily, I have a lot of customers who they don't write on the mail. They'll put a sticky note on it or something like that. So that's always nice, because it's never fun when they write wrong address.
And nice big Sharpie that takes up the entire length of the envelope. It's
like, shit, that's your neighbor, though.
It's literally one house down. All I did was fat finger it, and now I look like I'm a dumbass for doing that.
Yeah, it's whatever. But
yeah,
but the current resident stuff, I'm sorry, that just cracks me up.
Yeah,
even before I worked for the post office, I understood what a current resident was, right? And your ads, if you're in a place that gets ads, we don't have a choice. Throw them away.
We do not want to deliver those as much as you want to get them. We hate them so much.
But if I'm going to carry them, you're going to get it.
God, I'm so glad I was off last week for those ads. Those things were ugly.
Yeah. So, we keep getting way off topic.
That's what this was all about. We knew this was going to be the case. We'd start off with a topic and just go on a tangent.
That's all right. I see you're wearing a new shirt today.
Yes. I wore this specifically because...
So the Viking just went and did Viking things in Canada.
Yes.
Raided the Great White North.
Yeah.
How was that?
Well, where do I start?
Hey, start at the beginning.
So we started off with our trip up to Buffalo and spent the evening with some friends, which was nice. Catch up with them. I haven't seen them in a while, especially because of COVID 3 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I knew them from my reenacting game. And the only time I saw them was once a year at the big event that's no longer in existence due to politics, internal politics of the game. We're not going to. It would be too long of a story right now to go into. But anyways, so then we went up to Niagara Falls, took tons of pictures.
No drone, though.
Huh?
No drone, though.
No. Unfortunately, drone piloting is not allowed because it's a national park, and the FFA does not allow
the
FAA. Sorry.
Now hold on. No, but is it also a national park in Canada?
I didn't feel like dealing with that in Canada. But I'm going to say because they share a joined border, that park would be considered a national park. But yeah, you're not allowed to fly drone in national parks. I can't even fly in most of Cuyahoga Falls because technically, even though there's residential there, it's all a national park.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, no aerial photographs of the falls, which would have been really awesome. But we stayed there for a little while. But the problem is, it's the off season, and all the really close pathways that you get a good look were closed off.
Oh,
so okay. So we ended up just heading up to Toronto, which I don't like big cities. Like,
ooh, slip of the tongue. The place where we work.
He got it.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Small cities are fine. I can deal with that. The traffic in Toronto was fucking nightmarish.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. On par with New York.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking Toronto's one of the biggest cities in Canada.
Yeah.
So, downtown traffic was just nuts. And here I am in another country trying to figure this shit out. But I'm going to circle back to that here in a second. You won't believe what, going over the border, the question I got asked.
Are you white supremacist?
Close. Literally, he asked, do I own any guns? And I said, yes.
Do you own guns?
Do you have any in your vehicle with you? No. Well, where is it? Locked at home. I was leaving the country. I'm not bringing it with me. I'm not hunting.
Right.
Why are you asking me? I get it. I'm white and I have a beard and I might look like a white supremacist, but that doesn't mean that I am a gun-toting redneck.
You're a gun-toting liberal. That's the difference.
Exactly. So yeah, that was the only thing he asked me. That was it. Well, they asked me while we were on. I'm like, tourism. We're going up to Toronto to spend a couple of days. But yeah, he was asking if I had a gun and if I had it with me, and if I didn't have it with me, where was it?
That's a weird way. I can totally understand. Asking, hey, do you have any weapons in your vehicle? Do you own a gun?
I almost I wasn't trying to get pulled out of the vehicle, but I almost said, I'm fucking American, of course.
Right. That's what I was going to say. That's exactly the answer. I'm coming from America, yeah.
But, so yeah, that was weird, but, mostly because that was their focus of the question. But then, yeah, we got up to Toronto, and we went straight to medieval times, and that was fun.
Yeah?
I had a blast. We actually had great seats. We were in the middle of the arena. Well, not in the middle of the arena, but middle of the stadium seats, 50-yard line.
Oh, nice. He just made a sports reference.
He did.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not a foreigner.
What does that have to do with anything?
You don't know anything about America.
As he's wearing a New York Yankees hat.
And also, as I've lived here for over 25 years.
It's fucking fantastic!
Anyways, so yeah, it was great. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a medieval time show.
No.
I have, yeah.
It's not just... There's a lot of pageantry. It's not like all jousting. I mean, there's a little bit of combat, but oh my god, that is so fake to combat. Like, over the top.
Like bad.
Like, not even well choreographed combat. But, you know, it was fun, and our team won, which was really cool.
How did you decide team?
So, the stadium is spread out into 6 sections. There is we'll go around the circle. There's green, yellow and red, yellow, red, white and black, and blue. So when you get your tickets, they assign you to one of those sections. So when you're in that section, that's the night you cheer for. So we happened to be in the yellow and red section, which was right in the middle, and our rival was basically the one directly opposite of us, which was white and black. Yeah, I knew that was gonna be the last. Yeah. So anytime we saw the white and black knight, we had to boo him.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Huh?
Which one did you have to boo?
The white and black one.
Yeah.
His colors were white and black.
So, yeah.
Say it, diplomat. Say it. Please do.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
So we were the yellow and red one, and he won. It was kind of cool because my daughter was like ecstatic. It was the first time ever seeing something like that. And you know, the pageantry with the horses. There was they do like horse tricks where they like jump up and kneel and bow and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just, you know, basically dinner and a show. It was real fun.
Nice.
And then the next day we went to the Museum of Illusions, which was really cool. There was a room I thought you guys would like, the red, green, blue room.
What? Yeah.
You can go to hell.
Yeah, I know.
every chance you get, you bring that up, don't you?
Gotta be colorblind.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, it was really cool. There's a couple pictures of me that look like I'm 4 inches tall compared to my daughter.
Nice.
Because of the way your eyes react to things.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to experience Canadian medicine. My wife ended up with an eye infection.
Oh, jeez.
So we had... So we ended up having to go to... she ended up going to a walk-in clinic. Yeah.
What was that like, trying out the Canadian medicine?
Well, if you let him finish the story, he will tell you what it's like.
So there's basically a walk-in clinic every 3 blocks or so.
Okay.
So it's not hard to find medical needs and get in right away. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not what we get told over here in the States of, oh, you know, you're going to wait forever. You know, she came out with the going not only to the walk-in clinic, but then ended up having to go to an eye specialist just to rule out some other stuff, and her prescription for under $100 Canadian, which breaks down to about $80 American. I don't know anywhere in America you can get that, even with insurance.
Now, so that was going to be my question, because you were American.
Right.
Did they take her insurance card? Or?
No. However, she kept all her receipts, and I was looking into it. We should be able to submit it to the insurance company for a slight refund. But I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen there. But still,
but that's still pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, still, you're out $80. That's
right.
Great compared to what would happen here.
Yeah,
right.
You just walk into an urgent care here in the States, and that's $100 right there.
And that's basically what those are. You know, the walk-in clinics are basically urgent cares. Yeah, and they saw her and they said, "Yeah, we think it's this." I'm not going to go into details of what she had, but Like, but we want to rule this out, so why don't you go to an eye specialist, which basically was one of the crafters had an eye specialist in it. So we ended up going to one of the largest malls in Canada. This thing was like 5 city blocks.
Whoa.
It's huge.
Indoor?
Indoor. It crosses the street in a bridge, and the main building where she was getting her eyes examined was 6 floors.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. And then you cross the street, and it's more of a traditional American mall, but it was 3 stories. I walk 10 miles a day, and I was getting tired of walking. But then on the way home, we started coming home on Tuesday. We're going to go to a museum, but we're running out of time, trying to, because we had dinner reservation to it's called the Skylon restaurant. The floor rotates.
Oh, is it like the needle?
Yeah, it's that needle that's right there. You can see it from American side, but it's on the Canadian side. And basically it takes about an hour to rotate all the way around the view. And of course I'm a dork, so I left my phone recording for the whole hour. So I have an entire video of going around the tower that I'm going to try to figure out how to turn into a time lapse down to a 5-minute video.
If you had an iPhone, there's a time lapse feature where you can just swipe over and just set it down. I know.
Yeah, well, mine had a hyperlapse that I thought about setting it up, but I didn't know what that was going to do, and I didn't feel like messing around with too many things. But I'm just going to download the video onto my computer and do some photo editing or film editing. But yeah, there are so many functions on my phone that I don't even know how to use.
Well,
but then we just came home, and the rest of my vacation, I did jack shit.
Well, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh, I did a brake job today. That was fucking fun.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Anything else going on, guys? What we got? We had a hell of a storm come through.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of people without power.
Still.
Lots of trees. Lots of... It was funny. We came back to the office on Saturday. What in the world was that? Oh, hey. All right.
Breaking my new chair, that's all.
Yeah. We came back into the office on Saturday, and it was funny because it was like a 5 or 10 minute storm. It was like Wizard of Oz, though. And every carrier was showing pictures and videos. I mean, every single person had pictures and videos from their route and things that happened. So
of trees down, falling on buildings, and all that.
We had a main road. One of the carriers was showing me. He had a video, and the whole an enormous tree went across the entire road, and he was taking that video and.
I was trying to do my brakes yesterday and then it came in. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I went back out and I saw my neighbor with a handsaw trying to clean up her tree that fell across the street. I'm like, I have a chainsaw. Would you like a hand with that?
Yeah, me and 31 were eating lunch.
I was up in the front of his vehicle road just sitting there. And all of a sudden the thunderstorm came and I can just look in his eyes. He's going...
Well, I kept seeing. I'm very keen on seeing lightning, and I saw it, and I was like, But he was facing the other way; he didn't see it. I just
thought, as always, there it is.
Yeah,
there, and just head down. Just come on, there it is.
And then one hit, and it lit up the sky, and he was like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "No."
Remember, I'm still a kid, so this is amazing to me.
Well, you've never been struck by lightning.
Twice, right. No.
And it was bad, but luckily it blew over really fast. Well, kind of luckily. But Saturdays and deliver and mail have just been no good lately.
Yeah.
I think it's partially my fault with me going into your guys' office.
Oh, you think that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the bad luck juju.
Hey, you wanted me back here, so.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all casing buddies. Well.
Yeah, I know.
Some of us.
I'm in the nicer area of town.
You're in the complain corner is what you're in. Yeah, I can't do my pivot corner.
Yeah, I keep trying to play that game, and my boss keeps saying no.
Not working out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty exciting.
And now we're on the overtime list, so that's going to be fun. Well, you're not.
Hell no. Hell no.
Actually, the wind picked up so bad on Saturday. I was wearing a vest, our new vest, and I was like, this isn't out. So I had to put my fleece jacket on. Mm-hmm. Even then, I was like, God, this isn't out. I can't wear a hat because the hat will blow away. I didn't have a beanie on me, which I left in my car. But I almost considered putting on the overpants as well, just to get my legs off.
That temperature just dropped.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking, this is a great day. I'm going to get this, brake job done. And then I'm like, okay, the wind's picking up. That's not so bad.
Yeah, and then you see the black sky that
It just opened up on me. And then, of course, I go to try to finish working on it, and it starts snowing on me. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. At that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm putting the tire on, and I'll do this tomorrow. Because I was actually having issues with it. With this thing, stupid thing, I don't think I've changed the brakes on that since I bought it, and it's been almost 2 years.
On your vehicle?
Yeah, my vehicle. And so everything was seized on there. I'm sitting there. I actually had to cut one of the pins off for the brakes to get it out, because people don't know what never seize is when they're doing a brake job.
Mm-hmm. Brake job.
Took care of that.
You gonna suck dicks?
Yeah. There was a lot of swearing going on, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's been something. It's supposed to be pretty nice this week, so we should have a good week.
Yeah.
Mm. But you won't be here for most of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, a couple days.
You taking PO? RPT?
Nope. Going to New York.
Union to stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that'll be fun. I don't have to worry about ads this week, even though ad day is my day off.
Oh, thank God. Okay. That means I won't have to do overtime with ads on your your rotator will do it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It'll take him about 13 hours, but he'll get it done.
Hey, that's all
I
right.
hope mine takes care of my ads.
Yeah. I love the fact that I come back to work and I only have 4 days until a long weekend again.
Is it a long weekend?
Yeah.
No,
you're not black anymore. Hi, audience, to clarify, we have a color code for days off, and me and 31 shared the same color for days off, and that color was black. It is not a racial thing, I swear.
Okay.
Just breathe, Diplomat. Just breathe.
He took his headphones off and everything over there.
Sorry about that, Diplomat. I did not mean to.
It's going to be okay.
No,
I keep on telling myself that it's going to be okay.
It does feel weird when people say, what color are you? Like, oh yeah, I'm black. No, I'm red or I'm yellow. It does, out of context, that is one of the weirdest things just to randomly say.
After the Diplomat's reaction, I should probably clarify for the audience what I was talking about.
I know exactly what you were talking about.
I was about to say, because I just did my calendar. My long weekend's not for like another 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
Me and you shared a color for a while.
Yeah.
Now the ones that share color, you and Diplomat, right?
Yeah, or green.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Actually, in that case, you and Diplomat both share a color then.
Yeah. It wasn't me this time. I disagreed.
We're making him blush.
Yeah.
and cry.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Just think if Florida Man was here, then even better.
Oh, jeez.
R.I.P. Florida Man.
Yeah, he needs to get sick on Sundays again.
Nah, he needs
to get converted. I know.
Soon.
It'll come.
Soon.
It'll come soon.
Whatever soon means.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what soon
in the post office, just like your package will be delivered soon.
You're tracking package picked up, package in transit.
Package out for delivery.
3 weeks later.
Yeah. I ordered something I didn't realize. I mean, I should have guessed. I bought it on the internet, but it's coming from China.
Oh, good.
Just recently got through customs in Portugal.
Oh,
Portugal. On the bright side, there's no rush on the package anymore. But my new toy showed up yesterday, and I'm excited.
Which one?
My hand forged axe.
Oh, yeah, that one you got in that auction.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I actually got the wife to sign off on me making a display plaque for it.
Oh, that'd be
in the living room. So I'm going to display it in a cross style with my Warhammer.
Oh,
that'd be cool.
So,
yeah, that'll be really cool.
Yeah, so it'll look pretty and accessible at the same time.
Especially since, and you're quite handy, so you're doing it all yourself.
Right.
Whereas me, no.
Yeah.
Just no.
Just no. I don't. Nope. You want me to put two things together and make it a 90? No. No. I don't know how to do that. Interlocking pieces? No.
Look, I'm not one of those measure twice, cut once. I'm usually measure 15, 16 times, double check it again, and then still fuck up, so.
you get 4 pieces of wood when you only need 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I am not Bob Ross. There are no such things as happy accidents when it comes to swearing and anger, but eventually it looks decent enough to pass.
Very good. Very good. Oh, is that you got to get up?
No, the Guardians just started their game against the Seattle Mariners.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Baseball.
Well, that's the one with the 50-yard line, right?
No, it isn't.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's not.
Well, we're sitting at about an hour right now, so any other topics? Anything? Anybody want to say anything? Do you want to throw out any more racial
epithets?
Why are you looking at me?
You turn your head and look at me, and when I look back, you're like, why are you looking at me? I don't know. Maybe because you're staring at me, waiting for me to say something that's going to be inappropriate?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Never.
No.
We don't ever expect anything inappropriate to come out of your mouth.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I know.
That's,
especially when you said you hate a whole group of people multiple times.
It was a slip of the tongue.
Oh, well,
it did not come out the way I expected it.
We are gradually heading in that direction today.
Yeah,
I know.
We're not going to do it today, though.
No, I don't want the audience to hate me right off the bat.
Yeah,
I need to give them more time to maybe see my side of things.
All right. Well, if we got nothing else, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. And that was, another episode of The Collective. And I am Papa fucking Smurf.
I'm the Viking.
I'm the Diplomat.
And I'm 31.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.